NBA players that have tried to flirt or hit on other NBA players' partners. We admire our athletes for their almost incredible physical achievements, yet we're constantly reminded of their flaws through sports scandals and controversies. From taking drugs that enhance your skills to flirting and hooking up with your teammate's girlfriend, we have seen it all. Stay tuned to find out some NBA players that have tried and succeeded in flirting with their teammates' partners. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, two of the most famous basketball players of the 1990s, headed the Chicago Bulls. Who's the lady in question in this case? It's none other than Madonna herself, as a young woman. While Jordan, his teammate, was looking at her, the pop diva used to sit front and center, glancing up at Mr. Pippen. Apparently, Madonna picked him up in a fancy limo, according to Johnny Back, who was Pippen's former assistant coach at the time. Details are few due to the lack of an internet, but there was clearly something going on that people believed was worth discussing. There's even a rumor floating around that Jordan bet Madonna that he could pleasure her better than Pippen. Wow, we knew Michael Jordan was competitive, but that's absurd. Andrew Bynum and Jamal Mosley. Now, this situation might not involve another teammate's wife, but surely the wife of the coach is pretty similar. Andrew Bynum, who played for the Cleveland Cavaliers at the time, was suspended a few years ago after it was revealed that he had been suspended for conduct detrimental to the team, but was then given paid leave for allegedly having ties with the wife of one of the coaching staff, Jamal Mosley. Very scandalous. That season, he started 19 games and appeared in 24 others. Bynum has been out of the league for several years and shows no indications of returning. Nobody knows for sure if it was only for his play or if there was something more going on, but if this is true, it's a whopper. Tony Parker and Brent Barry. Many great point guards have graced the NBA throughout the years, and one of them is now based in San Antonio, where he has spent his entire 16-year career and won all 4 of his championships. We all know him, Tony Parker. And aside from being a fantastic basketball player, he's also known for being married to the stunning actress Eva Longoria for 5 years, which ended in 2011. Parker had an affair with Erin Barry, the former wife of his former teammate Brent Barry. Their divorce was somewhat because of their crazy work schedules, but the main reason for it turned out to be that Parker had been having an affair with Erin Barry, the former wife of his former teammate Brent Barry. This romance is said to have led to the end of both marriages, as well as Barry's decision to leave San Antonio since he couldn't take looking at Parker anymore. Derek Fisher and Matt Barnes. If Tony Parker is a first ballot Hall of Famer, so is Derek Fisher, the former point guard who, over the course of a 19-year career, set the NBA record for most playoff games played, a record bolstered by 5 championship triumphs. Fisher decided to get into coaching after retiring in 2014, which did not go well at all, as the New York Knicks were horrible while playing under him, and he was sacked after only 2 years on the job. Fisher and small forward Matt Barnes were teammates in 2011, and 4 years later, when it was reported that Fisher was seeing Barnes' newly single ex-wife, the 2 former colleagues got into a physical brawl. Barnes and his wife were divorced, so there shouldn't have been any problems. Fisher, on the other hand, had been seeing her since before the divorce was formalized, implying that Barnes was still married to her when they began dating. Jim Jackson and Jason Kidd. Jim Jackson and Jason Kidd, 2 emerging stars from the early 1990s, were another example. The feud between the two began when it was revealed that they were dating Tony Braxton at the same time. According to legend, Braxton went to a hotel where the Mavericks were staying on the road to pick up Kidd for a date, but ended up leaving with Jackson. Despite the fact that Braxton never verified or refuted the rumors, both players were moved away following the experience. Jackson predictably has rejected the accusations to this day, most recently speaking about it in an interview with Colin Cowherd. He claimed that it had never happened, but he wished it had. Many are hesitant to believe this and strongly believe something went down. He was just covering himself. Gilbert Arenas and Shaq. In 2010, allegations began to circulate that Shaquille O'Neal was having an affair with Laura Govan, the fiancée of Wizards player Gilbert Arenas. Emails between the 7'1" center and Govan were released, and they went into great detail about what they planned to do. As a result, Shawnee, Shaq's wife, filed for divorce from her husband, alleging irreconcilable differences. Arenas would be out of the NBA by this time. The details of this alleged affair remain a mystery. Gilbert Arenas first denied that his lady had hooked up with Shaq, but earlier this year, he seemed to change his mind. Arenas had handed his medical information to Govan as part of a defamation case. Arenas alleged Govan slandered him by claiming he had contracted an STD. Arenas retaliated by claiming that Govan had contracted an STD from Shaq. In the case, Govan refused to provide her medical records. Andrew Bynum. Most players who are fortunate enough to make it to the NBA would be envious of Andrew Bynum's 9-year career. On Kobe Bryant's Lakers team, the gifted big man was an all-star and two-time NBA champion, but his career was widely seen as a flop due to weight concerns, knee issues, and dedication questions that forced him out of the game before his 27th birthday. Bynum's maturity and attitude were constantly questioned, whether he was laughing after being benched or attempting a three-pointer, smiling after a close playoff loss, or rehabbing his knee at the Playboy Mansion. But getting connected with one of your coach's wife? That's a different kind of indiscretion, but it's one that Bynum is suspected of committing. The event, which involved then Cavaliers and current Mavericks assistant coach Jamal Mosley, is thought to have occurred in Cleveland while both the player and the coach were there. According to the article, Bynum was discovered to have had a sexual relationship with Mosley's wife, which led to an immediate suspension for conduct detrimental to the team. He would not play another game in Cleveland. He would only make 2 underwhelming appearances with the Indiana Pacers before retiring from the league. Paul Gasol and Shannon Brown. Paul Gasol was an all-star for the Los Angeles Lakers and happily married to Sylvia Lopez Castro. During the playoffs, though, he failed to show up and play as well as he normally did, and his numbers plummeted. The Lakers were unfortunately knocked out of the playoffs early in the 2011, failing to complete a three-peat after winning titles in 2009 and 2010. The engagement was then called off after it was revealed that an unnamed teammate, later revealed to be Shannon Brown, was having an affair with Castro. It's bad enough to sleep with your teammate's wife, but if you're gonna do it, don't do it during the playoffs. Jason Richardson, Leandro Barbosa, and Steve Nash. We had to leave one of the best for last, since this is by far one of the most disturbing and strangest incidents we've ever witnessed in professional sports. Steve Nash and 2 of his Phoenix Suns colleagues were involved in one of the most contentious situations to date. The day after his wife gave birth, Steve Nash filed for divorce. Isn't that heartless? In this situation, no, because his wife gave birth to an African-American child. The true father of the child was previously thought to be Leandro Barbosa, but the more likely possibility was switched to Jason Richardson. Nash announced his divorce from his wife just days before Richardson was sold. Nash only made one statement on the subject: "This is a bittersweet time for my wife and me. After 5 years of marriage, we're now in the process of divorcing. This is my only comment on the subject." Nash's reluctance to go into further detail is understandable given that this must have been the worst day of his life. Karl Malone and Kobe Bryant. Karl Malone got into trouble with Lakers star Kobe Bryant after he allegedly tried to make a pass at Bryant's wife Vanessa, resulting in some locker room controversy. Vanessa said, "Hey cowboy, what are you hunting?" while Malone was wearing a cowboy hat and boots one day, causing him to say, "Looking for a young Mexican females." That was the start of a barrage of insensitive remarks. That bond quickly deteriorated, and Malone recently stated in an interview, "I'll fight Kobe if he's still unhappy I flirted with his wife." At the time, Kobe was furious at his teammate. 2004, he said the following about the situation: "What he said is what he said. I believe in my heart that it wasn't a misunderstanding. My wife wasn't going to stand for it. She felt uncomfortable being around him to the point that she felt she had to call his wife and tell her." And there you have it, everything you need to know about NBA players that have tried, and some even succeeded, hitting on their teammates or other NBA players' partners. Be sure to let us know your thoughts down below. Which ones surprised you the most? Did we forget any good ones? Let us know. But if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss any of our new and upcoming content. Thanks for watching.